Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, July 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are going to take a look at ABVE. Talked about this one in the previous top 10 video, and another explosion happened today. So higher highs and higher lows, and that is the name of the game. So just as a quick recap, if you did not watch yesterday's video, it talked about basically this bull pennant that formed, and then you got another massive move up in the bullish direction right here, which is very important because that has now given us the backbone to another bull pennant pattern. And yes, you can have the same patterns over and over again. And assuming you're bullish, especially when it comes to bull pennants, that is a good thing because in order to get a bull pennant, you're going to need a new high that gets put into place. And like I said, assuming you're bullish, higher highs and newer highs is what it's all about. So let's get this into play here a little bit more concretely. So we have our top part of the pattern right there as an area of resistance. And then the bottom of the pattern is right here. Change that to green for support. And then again, just to make sure everybody sees it, even though I do it again, let's just make sure that we're all on the same page. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have that huge explosive move right there. And then for you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. And there's the bull pennant pattern. Now, just because it's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to move upwards. But would it be shocking if the price were to break through that area and then get more upside momentum? Absolutely not. So is that guaranteed to happen? Absolutely not. Is that a valid question to throw out there? Absolutely. So if you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, BTOG, and talked about this one yesterday, and specifically what we just talked about here, that bull pennant pattern. So you can see here was the bull pennant that I discussed in yesterday's video, and you can see again, got the nice breakout through there, and in some senses, another bull pennant, although I'm not going to really take that approach, because right now we have in fact, let me just get rid of these lines down here. They serve their purpose for now. But we now have another very clear, or at least in my mind, very clear, well-defined area of resistance, and that is right here up at the 44-cent mark. Just going throughout the course of the day, you can see right there, rejected, a couple candles in a row right there, rejected, and even late day today, once again rejected. So that's not to say that 44 cents cannot be broken, but that is to say that for whatever reason, 44 cents, the sellers are hanging around up there, and that has become a very stubborn level that the bulls have just not been able to push through today. And again, no guarantees, but it is certainly more than valid to think that if the price can push up through 44 cents, that in and of itself could create another round of upwards buying pressure. So with this one moving in next week, I think it's really that straightforward. All eyes on 44 cents, and it just becomes a question, are the bulls going to get enough strength to push up through there? So grab your popcorn for next week. Next one, FTFT, and we are going right back to it. I'm going to go through this much quicker because you've already heard him talk about it, and I want to respect your time as much as possible. But yes, let's just get this pattern drawn into play. So there is the top of the pattern. Here we have the bottom of the pattern as support. And then just to keep it all the same color, we have resistance, we have support, we have the nice upwards move right here, and we have our golf hole down here. So we have another bull pennant pattern. So if you're liking this price range down below $5, you like bull pennants, here's another one to keep an eye on. Next one, BBAI, and the bleeding continues, and this is where things start to get extra sketchy because it really is a difficult chart to talk about from a presentation standpoint because there's just so many different perspectives. If you are any sort of, not even necessarily a day trader, but even a medium-term trader, and you bought there or bought here or bought here, I mean, this chart is looking rough because it just continues to drop further and further below each one of these areas as it bleeds lower and lower. Now, if you care about truly the broad scope of things, the big picture of things, then you still do have to give the advantage to the bulls because from that angle, to be fair and objective, the price is still up above the pink line there, which is the very famous, very well-known 200 period simple moving average. And even if you have a basic understanding of charts, I'm sure you've heard of that moving average, and you know that when the price is above there, again, from the big picture overarching standpoint, as long as price is above that pink line, then the trend is still in the bullish favor. So that is the one thing where I'm not going to say that the chart's absolutely destroyed and it's game over, because like I said, the price is still above there. But if the price drops onto that area next week, starts to separate to the downside, then that would be a signal that the bears have officially taken back over. So keep an eye on that level there. Again, 200 period simple moving average as key area of support. If the price does try to return back upwards, main initial battleground will be 695, and that's just based on the foundational rule that when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. And I'll just go ahead and get rid of that level as it's not really relevant for the time being. But yeah, definitely an overall rough week here for BBAI. Next one here, PLUG. Talked about this in the previous videos, and overall, the chart is hanging in there. Not quite as bad as BBAI, but still follows the same general rule that, things as the further and further they pull back, the sketchier and sketchier it gets. But it's not like BBAI where it's now all of a sudden approaching the pink line, because the pink line on PLUG, not until way down there. But point here being is, yes, another week where there's quite a bit of a pullback here. And the main levels that I talked about previously do still hold. I'm going to make a couple of adjustments with the next key level of support going into next week right there around the $1.55 mark. And that's just coming from the fact that this was a former area of resistance. And the rule states that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So if the price does come back some more, then yeah, $1.55 would be a key area to watch from a resistance standpoint, from a support standpoint. And then in terms of areas of resistance, nothing new here to report. If you watched yesterday's video, then hopefully remember me putting in that trend line right there as a near-term area of resistance. So the sooner the price can get back above there, the better. And then the overarching level still remains up there at $1.85. So yeah, a bigger pullback here this week. But again, assuming you care about the grand scheme of things, the price does still have an opportunity to build that overall higher base. Real quick, I wanted to just point your attention to something that may be able to help you out, especially if you're somebody that is very frustrated, very annoyed by the pattern day trader rule. Maybe you want to be a day trader, but you just can't, because unless you have that $25,000, you're limited to those 3-day trades every 5 days. But there is a solution, and if you are interested, by checking out the link claytrader.com/take profit, it will allow you to become a day trader today. And by that, I mean you will have unlimited day trades available to you. You can get $50K in buying power for only $102 and trade a market that is open 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. This may all sound too good to be true. It's not. It's the exact thing that I'm doing and that works, that I've made money from. So there's no scam. There's nothing like that. It is all legit. So check it out if you want to learn more. But yes, again, if you're sick and tired of that pattern day trade rule, there is a solution to get as many day trades as you want every single day for $102. So like I said, check out that link. And if you want to take advantage of this deal and the promotion, make sure to use code CLAY at checkout. Next one here, we are looking at NVDA, and overall a good solid move. Now there's a little bit of perspective that goes into this. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yeah, from that standpoint, things are looking pretty rough. But overall, the chart came up here, got a beautiful break up through that level that I was talking about in yesterday's top 10 video at 164.40. And when the price broke above it, right there, you can see the momentum really kicked into gear. Yeah, there's been a pullback, but overall, even with the pullback, the price is still sitting at higher highs than where it was. So that's where the first update comes into play, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above. You want to see them act as support. So 164.40 would be the best case scenario in terms of, hey, Clay, what would make the chart look the healthiest? Certainly if the price can stay above there. But even if the price does not hold above there, just continue to watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And as long as the price stays above that purple line, as the line itself moves higher and higher, then the overall trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. But yeah, very nice way to end the week here for NVIDIA. And we'll see if the price can curl back upwards and put in some new higher highs next week. Next one, INKT, an absolute crazy beast today. So if you like very volatile monsters, then this is one to keep an eye on for next week. And I don't want to get too technical, because really the main reason for pointing this out is that the ingredients are there for those of you as day traders. The first bit of ingredients, you want to have good quality volume, and there is some good quality volume. Second bit is you want to see something that moves around and has some volatility. And this thing definitely has volatility when you think that, it basically went from $20 today up over $60 in the same day. So like I said, those are the main ingredients that you want to have there as a trader, and they're definitely there. In terms of technical levels, like I said, just keeping this very kind of basic and broad, because the main dynamics, as I just talked about already there. But in terms of where the sellers are currently hanging out, it seems to be right around that $74 mark is the problem area in order, for any sort of more bullish momentum to show up. And then in terms of areas of support, and for those of you that maybe like to play pullbacks, interesting pullback area right there around the $54 mark. And then after that, another interesting pullback level down there right around the $45 mark. But like I said, big volume, big volatility. So if you like these sorts of scenarios, I'm sure there will be plenty of people watching it on Monday. Next one, SGN. And these are always interesting scenarios where you have a situation where the price opens up right here, and then all of a sudden it has a pretty nasty pullback and starts to drop and drop and drop and drop. And, somewhere right around there, it always becomes a valid question to say, was this just a gap and trap? Is this just some sort of pump and dump? What's going on? And seemingly got our answer because the price at least did start to go sideways from that moment. Now, just because the price went sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed this is the bottom, and that for sure guaranteed this thing is about to, curl itself back upwards. But is it at least a valid thought? Is it at least a plausible question to throw out there as a scenario? Absolutely. Case in point, let's just say that the price was still just dropping, and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally just going straight down. But that's not the case here. The price has at least started to go sideways. So again, just because it started to show this action here in a sideways nature does not mean for sure guaranteed it is going to curl back upwards. It just becomes more valid. And in this scenario, the level that stands out to me quite a bit in terms of where the potential resistance level is to get this thing kind of jumping back upwards would be right here around the $2.65 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But all in all, interesting scenario. Got the big gap up, a nasty pullback, but now with it starting to go sideways, does that mean that this is, done and ready to curl back up? So we'll see what happens with it next week. Next one here, WKHS, and I'm going to go through this one very quickly because once again, you've heard me talk about this pattern before. Oops, let's get this back to the normal. There we go. So we have our area of resistance there. We have our area of support down there, and then just to keep it all one color. So resistance, support, big upwards move, golf hole down here. We're looking at yet another bull pennant pattern. So lots of bull pennants to choose from going into next week. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and the very, very nice overall week continues. It was a very, very rough period of time not that long ago with the big gap down right here. But ever since then, ever since essentially the beginning of this week, it has been slowly grinding higher and higher. And assuming you're long, I'm sure nobody's really complaining about the fact that these lows just keep getting higher and higher and higher, as that is the name of the game. So overall, the easiest way to just kind of gauge the quote-unquote higher lows is not to overcomplicate it, but we've talked about it before. Watch that purple line right there, the 50-period simple moving average, as that line moves higher and higher, because again, it is a moving average. Then that does imply that the price is building those higher bases, and that's what it's all about. So I'll go ahead and just get rid of that line there, try to keep it as clean as possible. Also going to just get rid of that level, because really now moving forward, the next key battleground, which you've heard him talk about in past charts, is going to be that pink line there, which you hopefully remember is that 200-period moving average. Now, the difference here is that the price is up above it. In those other scenarios, the price was down below it. So I was sitting here saying that, you'd want to see that act as support. In this situation, it's a very credible scenario that is going to act as resistance. Now, that doesn't mean the price can't push through it, but it does mean that if the price is going to push through it, the bulls are really going to need to bring their A game. So keep an eye on that level moving forward. That'll be public enemy number one. But all in all, very, very solid week for Tesla. Each and every day pretty much was putting in those higher highs and higher lows, and that's what you want to see. So that wraps up the top 10 list. And again, if you are challenged because of that pattern day trader rule and you want to get involved, become a true day trader, have as many day trades, have unlimited day trades every single day, then this choice here that I'm presenting to you does allow you to do that. So again, go to claytrader.com/take profit. I'll also put the link down in the description area, and you can get yourself $50K of buying power for only $102. And again, the biggest point here, I think, is to kick the pattern day trader rule to the curb and not have to worry about being all conservative and morphing strategies and just putting up with a headache that pattern day trader rule does create for so many traders. So again, check out the link in the description area, claytrader.com/take profit, and make sure you use code CLAY at checkout in order to take advantage of the overall promotion. So let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care and have a great weekend.